Today on Positive Spin,
the message has become something household that everybody talks about now.
But a much larger issue is emerging. A massive river navigation and widening project between the Thai and Chinese governments that would...
The UN works for primary education for all.
The UN works to prevent conflict.
Communities that are safe, progressive,
and support everyone who lives there.
Where we replace
what we consume.
Planet where we put back what we take out of the earth.
Ceux-là qui arrivent ici, ils se communiquent avec leurs compatriotes qui sont encore dans la bourse. Voilà, nous sommes déjà à la mosquée. Avant, on avait peur, on s'inquiétait qu'il n'y avait pas la paix.
On today's program, we'll view the BBC video presentation, The Birth of the Youth Environmental Movement. And we'll profile the 2022 Goldman Prize recipient from Thailand. Then we'll celebrate the important work of the UN and its humanitarian agencies. Following that, we'll learn about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we'll witness rebel fighters in the Democratic Republic of Congo as they lay down their arms. Finally, we'll hear a new song by J.D. Shultz, aka Human Brother, entitled Find You in the Light.
Imagine paying for your own death.
What if you were growing up and reading your future, code red for your future, code red for humanity?
Politicians saying, oh, well, it's happening and I guess we'll just sign the paper and then it'll all be fine.
We need the adults, but they also need us.
I was really very knowledgeable about climate change until September of 2018 when I stumbled across a video of Greta Thunberg. So then in that same week, that was my first ever school strike. Then afterwards, I wanted to know more about climate change.
Seeing people like Greta and other high-profile climate activists in the newspaper talking about the crisis, talking about the need for action now, was so inspiring. I led a march around our hometown, which was particularly powerful. Lots and lots of people from the community showed up.
Here in the Caribbean, we didn't really have any marches or any protests like that. We advocated in different ways, and I saw that thousands of people marching. You saw the signs and you saw the people yelling and really demanding what is their right. The message has become something household that everybody talks about now.
We are literally subsidizing our own extinction right now by subsidizing the fossil fuels industries. Imagine paying for your own death.
The temperatures in so many different cities across the world were rising so much, and how many more public places were being flooded. It's happening in real life, like how so recently this year, unfortunately, so many places in Germany and France were being washed away.
There was huge urban flooding in our economic hub, which is Karachi, and it broke records of 89 or so years because there were so heavy rainfalls and the infrastructure of the city was destroyed.
After Hurricane Maria and Irma struck, I was truly devastated. I felt compelled to take personal action. Many of the neighboring islands did see destruction, and the islands that were affected were completely destroyed. Families lost everything, their homes, their belongings. I was like, if I can create change, why not do it now? If I can be part of the solution, why not do it now?
Put yourself in our shoes. What if you were growing up and reading that your future, code red for your future, code red for humanity?
I do understand that, like, you can't instantly pause everything that's going on like that now. You can't easily stop everything, but it needs time. However, we don't have enough time to keep on going and using so many bad things.
So many young people like myself participate in these discussions and our voices are heard, but are they really put into action? Are you listening to what I'm saying and putting it into your policies, putting it into your laws? No, you're not, because the landfills are still full, the streets are still full of plastic. There's so much more that you can do.
A lot of the climate crisis links back to despair and eco-anxiety and feelings of hopelessness. I found people raising awareness, talking about the movement, really gave me hope.
It is also making me feel quite happy and optimistic. The more people are listening to the younger generation as well.
Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we
Niwat Roykal grew up along the richly biodiverse Mekong River, which courses through 3,000 miles of Asian countryside. For centuries, the river has provided a lifeline for 65 million people, most of them fishermen and farmers.
I am a son of the Mekong. The Mekong itself is a source of food, a source of income. This is a place where we take baths, where we get water for home use. The river is also a playground and a learning space. It is a big part of my life.
Niwat is known as Kru T, or teacher. He's been a lifelong educator in the schools of Chien Kong. Some years ago, the nature of his work took a different course when he learned of an imminent threat to his community.
We heard about dams being built upstream, and we began to see changes. Before, there was no poverty along the Mekong River. We could fish to support ourselves. We planted many different crops in the rich soil. In the past, lots of fish, not just giant catfish, would swim up here to lay their eggs and spawn. The main cause for the loss of the fish catch has been the dams upriver.
Kru T began to talk with his pupils' parents, who were struggling with their diminishing catch and crops. The discussion turned to protests against the dams, but a much larger issue was emerging. A massive river navigation and widening project between the Thai and Chinese governments that would destroy a 250-mile stretch of the Mekong. It would involve dredging and blasting with explosives to construct a deep navigation channel for 500-ton Chinese cargo ships, which would devastate the Mekong's fisheries, ecosystems, and livelihoods.
The real campaign was when we began work on the Mekong River Rapids blasting campaign, because it was happening right here in front of our homes. We fought and we organized our local communities. We spread information, we raised awareness in schools and Buddhist temples where our monks emphasized our spiritual connection to nature. We built a new movement, a new alliance. We spread the word to new groups, to a new generation.
As Kru T raised awareness about the dangerous project, word came back to him that 120 miles of the river had already been blasted. Kru T doubled down on his efforts, and in response, the Thai government announced that it would cancel the project in February 2020.
Even though we were very small and we seemed powerless, we believed in the right of local communities to protect our own resources. That gave us the strength and energy to do whatever we could to stop this destructive project. And people everywhere agreed, because this is not just for the Mekong. This is for the world as a whole.
For outstanding environmental achievement for Asia, the 2022 Goldman Environmental Prize is awarded to Niwat Roykal, Chien Khong, Thailand.
The UN promotes maternal health.
The UN combats climate change.
The UN helps people in emergency.
The UN works for peace.
The UN fights poverty.
The UN vaccinates children.
The UN feeds hungry populations.
The UN assists refugees.
The UN promotes human rights.
The UN promotes disarmament.
The UN works for primary education for all.
The UN works to prevent conflict.
Happy birthday, United Nations.
We can be.
We must be the first generation
to end extreme poverty.
The generation
Most determined
To fight injustice
and inequalities.
The generation that saves the planet from climate change.
And this is how it will get done.
The global goals.
A 15-year plan
For everyone, everywhere.
With no one left behind.
We will live in a world
Where nobody
anywhere
lives in extreme poverty.
Where no one
goes hungry.
where no one
Wakes in the morning asking if there will be food today.
We will live in a world
where no child has to die of
Diseases we know how to cure.
And where proper health care
is a lifelong right for us all.
We will live in a world
where everyone
goes to school.
and education gives us the knowledge
And skills
For a fulfilling life.
We will live in a world where all girls and all women have equal opportunities
to thrive
and be powerful
and safe.
We cannot succeed if half the world is headed.
We will live in a world
where all people can get clean water
and proper toilets at home,
at school,
and at work.
We will live in a world where there's sustainable energy for everyone.
heat, light, and power for the whole planet.
Without destroying the planet.
We'll live in a world where economies prosper.
a new wealth
leads to decent jobs
For everyone.
And we will live in a world
where our industry,
Our infrastructure and our
Best innovations
Are not just used to make money, but to make all our lives better.
we will live in a world
Where prejudices and extremes of inequality
are defeated.
Inside our countries
And between different countries.
where people live in cities and communities
that are safe, progressive,
and support everyone who lives there.
where we replace
what we consume.
Planet where we put back
What we take out of the earth.
We live in a world that is decisively rolling back the threat of climate
change.
where we restore and protect the life in our oceans and seas.
We'll restore
and protect
Life on land,
The forests,
Animals, the earth itself.
with peace between and inside countries.
where all governments are open.
And answer to us for what they do at home and abroad.
And the justice rules.
With everyone equal before the law.
Where all countries and we their people
Work together.
partnerships of all kinds
To make these goals a reality.
These are the United Nations global goals
for sustainable development.
Let's get to work.
Let's make it happen.
Hapa kupori, kwa kupori ni magumu tu na hakuna kizuri kupori. Tukapigwa wakati kidogo napigiwa, wakati kidogo na kukimbiza. Mie banizalia huku akiamua kwenda, lakini mimi sikuwa pamoja naye. Jo mimi nikibakia nikikosa maisha ikinivuruga, pia nikiingia kisoda.
Na mateso mingi. Watu wanaua wenzao, kukula ni shida. Kukula ni kusema mpaka watu waende waibie njoo wakule tu basi. Njoo mateso yuko kule. Utakula beba na kuibia utasema sasa ni furaha yuko kule, hakuna. Ni kupigwa kila siku kama bwana wetu waishaenda, wanawake wako kutesa tu basi.
Hasa nafika kuatua, naamua na mimi nishazala wangu mtoto, hata nikasumbukia hapa kupori, niko mwanamke. Sitakimbia sasa nikimbia na mtoto, nikimbia na mwanamke haitawezekana.
Dès qu'ils arrivent ici maintenant, on les encadre. Ils ne doivent pas partir immédiatement. On récupère l'arme, on commence à les former sur la paix en leur disant que le pays, votre pays natal, il y a la paix. Ceux-là qui arrivent ici, ils se communiquent avec leurs compatriotes qui sont encore dans la bourse. Voilà, nous sommes déjà à la mosquée. Avant, on avait peur, on s'inquiétait qu'il n'y avait pas la paix. Et pourtant, on est bien encadré. Et je pense que le moment est venu pour que vous puissiez nous rejoindre aussi. Dès qu'ils quittent ici, nous les accompagnons jusqu'à la frontière. Nous remettons la liste de ceux-là que nous venons de remettre au gouvernement rwandais. Et après, maintenant, on va les acheminer dans un autre cas de transit qu'on appelle Mutobo. Mutobo sur Rwanda. C'est là qu'ils vont bénéficier aussi d'autres formations de leur pays pendant 2 ou 3 mois avant qu'ils soient intégrés dans leur pays.
Mais hivi nafurahi sana kusikia sasa niko naenda kunyumba kwetu. Mimi ananiambia sasa hapa kwenda sema ni Rwanda, hata nikufie kunyumba, sasa afika kunyumba kingi kisikia sasa ni udongo wa Rwanda, ndio nakufia hapo. Nitafurahi sana, nitakuwa na furaha sana.
inside your head. Can you tell me, is it fiction or is it real? Deep inside the ocean that never ends, like a sparrow learning to fly. You never know until you try and try again. Again for you to come to me and let's say, my friend,
Well, peace means respecting other people's rights. There was a famous Mexican president, Benito Juarez, who said, el respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Respecting other people's rights is peace. That's number one. Peace means a world without violence. And peace means a world that we not only care for each other, but that we also care for our Earth, our planet.
Just coexist with each other, and not necessarily always having to agree on every issue, but not allowing our differences to cause us to hate each other.
What peace means to you?
What peace means to me?
Yeah.
Peace,
why is it important?
Well, peace to me means that everyone has the opportunity to succeed in this world, and they get the same opportunities. And right now, that's not happening. So, you want peace so that people can live a life and advance themselves to become better.
Thank you.
Peace is a beautiful garden, a warm sunset, a favorite pet. Peace is the warmth experienced when surrounded by people who love you, and the joy of being in surroundings that inspire you.
Hi, my name is Sue Purcell. Peace, you're out. What peace means to me is coming from the inside, heartfelt emotions that we all live together in harmony and appreciate our differences and love one another.
Thank you for watching Positive Spin. This show was made possible through the generosity of the Patty and Jack Wright Foundation and the Prem Rawat Foundation. Watch and subscribe to our previous episodes on YouTube, and please like us on Facebook. Follow us on Free Speech TV, Roku, Sling, DirecTV, Dish Network, and Apple TV. I'm Bill McCarthy. Stay safe and healthy, and remember, you can create your own positive news.